Chapter 9. Subjective date, 16 years before the ball appeared. I was surprised that I woke up so early. Yesterday, Carol and I had been married at noon. We'd driven up to this classy motel near Lake Geneva. We'd spent most of our time in bed after we got there, naturally. Though we did get up for dinner and champagne. We finally fell asleep about 4 in the morning. That was why I hadn't expected to wake up at dawn. I reached over to touch Carol, wondering if she would be too sleepy. But she wasn't there. She'd gone to the bathroom, I thought. I'll catch her on the way back. Then I sat up, my heart beating as if it had suddenly discovered it was alive. The edges of the room got fuzzy, and then the fuzziness raced in toward me. The dawn light was filtered by the blinds, but I had seen that the furniture was not familiar. I'd never been in this place before. I sprang out of my bed and did not, of course, notice the note sticking out of my glass case. Why should I? I didn't wear glasses then. Bellowing, "Carol!" I ran down a long and utterly strange hall and past the bathroom door, which was open, and into the room at the other end of the hall. Inside it, I stopped. This was a kid's bedroom. Bunks, pennants, slogans, photographs of 2 young boys, posters and blow-ups of faces I'd never seen, except one of Laurel and Hardy, some science fiction and Tolkien and Tarzan books, some school texts, and a large flat piece of equipment hanging on the wall. I would not have known that it was a TV set if its controls had not made its purpose obvious. The bunks had not been slept in. The first rays of the sun fell on thick dust on a table. I ran back down the hall, looked into the bathroom again, though I knew no one was there. Saw dirty towels, underwear, and socks heaped in a corner, and ran back to my bedroom. The blinds did not let enough light in, so I looked for a light switch on the wall. There wasn't any, though there was a small round plate of brass where the switch should have been. I touched it, and the ceiling lights came on. Carol's side of the bed had not been slept in. The mirror over the bureau caught me, drew me, and held me. Who was this haggard old man staring out from my 23-year-old self? I had gray hair, big bags under my eyes, thickening and sagging features, and a long scar on my right cheek. After a while, still dazed and trembling, I picked up a book from the bureau and looked at it. At this close distance, I could just barely make out the title, and when I opened it, the print was a blur. I put the book down, Be Your Own Handyman Around Your House, and proceeded to go through the house from attic to basement. Several times I whimpered, "Carol, Carol." Finding no one, I left the house and walked to the house next door and beat on its door. No one answered. No lights came on inside. I ran to the next house and tried to wake up the people in it, but there weren't any. A woman in a house across the street shouted at me. I ran at her, babbling. She was about 50 years old and also hysterical. A moment later, a man her age appeared behind her. Neither listened to me. They kept asking me questions, the same questions I was asking them. Then I saw a black and white police car of a model unknown come toward me around the corner half a block away. I ran toward it, then stopped. The car was so silent that I knew even in my panic that it was electrically powered. The 2 cops wore strange uniforms, charcoal gray with white helmets topped by red panaches. Their aluminum badges were in the shape of a spread eagle. I found out later that the police throughout the country had been federalized. These 2 were on the night shift, and so had had enough time to get reoriented. Even so, one had such a case of the shakes that the other told him to get back into the car and take it easy for a while. After he got us calmed down, he asked us why we hadn't listened to our tapes. "What tapes?" we said. "Where's your bedroom?" he said to the couple. They led him to it, and he turned on a machine on the bedside table. "Good morning," a voice said. I recognized it as the husband's. "Don't panic. Stay in bed and listen to me. Listen to everything I say." The rest was a resume, by no means short, Of the main events since the first day of memory loss. It ended by directing the two to a notebook that would tell them personal things they needed to know, such as where their jobs were, how they could get to them, where their area central distributing stores were, how to use their ID cards, and so on. The policeman said, "You have the rec set to turn on at 6:30, but you woke up before then. Happens a lot." I went back, reluctantly, to the house I'd fled. It was mine, but I felt as if I were a stranger. I ran off my own wrecks twice. Then I put my glasses on and started to put together my life. The daily rerun of narrative of an old young man shipwrecked on the shoals of time. I didn't go anyplace today. Why should I? I had no job. Who needs a lawyer who isn't through law school yet? I did have, I found out, an application in for a position on the police force. The police force was getting bigger and bigger, but at the same time was having a large turnover. My rec said that I was to appear at City Hall for an interview tomorrow. If I feel tomorrow as I do today, and I will, I probably won't be able to make myself go to the interview. I'm too grief-stricken to do anything but sit and stare, or now and then get up and pace back and forth, like a sick leopard in a cage made by time. Even the tranquilizers haven't helped me much. I have lost my bride the day after we were married, and I love Carol deeply. We were going to live a long, happy life and have 2 children. We would raise them in a house filled with love. But the recs say that the oldest boy escaped from the house and was killed by a car, and Carol, in a fit of anguish and despair, killed the youngest boy, and then herself. They're buried in Springdale Cemetery. I can't feel a retroactive grief for those strangers called Mike and Tom. But Carol, lovely, laughing Carol, lives in my mind. God, why don't I just erase all my wrecks? Then I'd not have to suffer remorse for all I've done or failed to do. I wouldn't know what a bastard I'd been. Why don't I do it? Take the past and shed its heartbreaks and its guilt as a snake sheds its skin. Or as the legislature cancels old laws. Press a button, fill the wastebasket, and you're clean and easy again. Innocent again. That's the logical thing to do. And I'm a lawyer, dedicated to logic. Why not? Why not? But I can't. Maybe I like to suffer. I've liked to inflict suffering, and according to what I understand, those who like to inflict unconsciously hope to be inflicted upon. No, that can't be it. At least, not all of it. My main reason for hanging on to the Rex is that I don't want to lose my identity. A major part of me, a unique person, is not in the neurons of my mind where it belongs, but in an electromechanical device or in tracings of lead or ink on paper. The protein, the flesh for which I owe, can't hang on to me. I'm becoming less and less, dwindling away like the wicked witch on whom Dorothy poured water. I'll become a puddle, a wailing voice of hopeless despair. And then, nothing. God, haven't I suffered enough? I said I owe for the flesh, and I'm down in your books. Why do I have to struggle each day against becoming a dumb brute, a thing without memory? Why not rid myself of the struggle? Press the button, fill the wastebasket, discharge my grief in a chaos of magnetic lines and pulp paper. Sufficient to the day is the evil thereof. I didn't realize, Lord, what that really meant.